Hello, my ladies and pretty gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Look What's Happening in the Spirit Realm with yours truly, Light. Today I have a very special message, and this is not going to resonate with everyone. It's a message that I've had time to connect the dots for. And the first incident of this message arriving in my field was in a dream. But what I'm hearing now is that there are a lot of grid workers or energetic divine beings that their body is equipped to channel a lot of these higher dimensional, they're not just light codes. They're codes of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They are insight that not a lot of people can get their hands on because their body cannot accumulate or transmute or even metabolize that kind of energy in order to act on it. And this is the divine hierarchy, right? There are a lot of souls here with divine hierarchy. Before I talk about the separation of the earth, which Spirit made clear to me has already occurred, and a lot of us that feel as though we are remembering, we're coming back online, are actually people who exist simultaneously, not just in this plane, but also in the earth that has been separated, the earth where we are experiencing a golden age. We are already existing in that plane. And a lot of us have been left behind, but that's not really the case. We have come of our own volition. We are conscious on this side of the story, on this side of the planet, in order to bring about order. Because nothing goes to waste in this planet. Nothing goes to waste in this universe. What I'm hearing, though, specifically, for those of you who resonate with this energy, this divine knowledge, insight, wisdom that you have, that isn't necessarily something you gained by reading books, but it's just the way you think. You get a lot of downloads, insights, you see things, you have premonitions. You are the divine hierarchy at play. But the way this planet has maintained its hierarchy, the way this planet has functioned with the world leaders that we see today, this is the part of the video that I really need you to focus on, because this is the part that Spirit made clear to me. Energetic siphoning doesn't just occur in day-to-day romantic relationships, lovers, friendships. No, what you're seeing is a smaller diagram of what is actually playing out in a larger scale. A lot of you who have resonated with the two-timeline reality, where you're existing simultaneously somewhere else, what I would consider heaven. And here, those of you who resonate with that, your energy has been called upon by a lot of world leaders. Your energy has been brought to the forefronts with these people that their body is incapable, is literally incapable because of how denigrated they are spiritually. Their body is incapable to download these insights, to have them generally emerging from themselves. So what they do is they spiritually bind their field with grid workers, with energetic beings, hierarchical beings, with high-ranking spirits. They bind themselves, these leaders, as world leaders, political leaders, whatever you want to call them, they bind themselves to these beings, civilians, in order to gain higher knowledge and insight, more like the chessboard, in order to see the chessboard without actually removing themselves from the power source, without stepping down. Because a lot of you may have even resonated with some of the messages that I've given in the past about these entities, these vampires coming into your dream space, into your reality, to interview you, to talk to you, to either chase you. You might actually resonate with having Smith-looking characters with actual, I'm talking like literal agents that chase after you in the astral. You may have protectors, beings, I'm talking spirit beings or animal spirit beings that protect you. These are a parts of your identity that are uncorrupted. They are parts of your identity that don't necessarily resonate with being a human being, but they are you. These are people that have maintained their power by hijacking or by piggybacking on the downloads and insights of the divine beings that are supposed to maintain natural order on this planet. This is the war that we're seeing, the true war behind all of the shenanigans that we see externally. So Spirit guided me to talk about the 144,000 and what that actually even represents in this context. These are people, energies, people that live on both frequencies, both planets, both the planet that a lot of people think that Armageddon is coming. But the perspective that I was given was actually very different. It has already happened, right? If time exists simultaneously, it has already happened. We are actually living in the aftermath of the separation. We're also living in the promised land at the same time. And that gap of not being able to quite see it for what it is, this is the part that really, really changes the entire playing field. Because a lot of you who may have walked in your divine order may have came across people that do know what that heaven feels like, what they do know where they come from, but they got so mixed up in the forgetting, they got so mixed up in this reality that they became the torturers. They became those who inflict pain. I'm kind of getting the perspective of Dean from Supernatural, who ends up going to hell, and in that process, he withstands hell as much as he can, but eventually, I'm so sorry, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen that series, eventually he becomes the torturer in order to escape the torture. He gets a deal from, who was the one who was running hell at the time? Crowley, how could I forget? He gets a deal from Crowley in order to be the torturer, and that becomes a part of his identity. And this is what I'm seeing for those who remember, for those that I have talked about in this channel as fellow chosen ones or fellow soulmates, or yes, let's just keep it simple, fellow chosen ones who really unselected themselves at a certain point. A lot of your journey has been made difficult because the agents of this matrix have used these beings who frequently resonate with you in order to infiltrate your field. That is what I'm hearing. And a lot of you, whether you know it or not, there are places and locations that you have a hard time leaving. Places and locations that you have a hard time being accepted to because these leaders, these energies that rule this world are keeping you in a specific location where they can access you generally, where they can tap into the downloads, the frequencies that you're anchoring, because their body cannot do it. Their body cannot do it. And the fact that you do it, this is where when we talk about powerful, what does powerful mean, right? Because it's very vague. We talk about it in the spiritual community. You're so powerful, you have no idea. Because the Most High is directly connected to you. And the Most High has ordinances. They have layers to the system. And it isn't about authoritarianism. It isn't about being tyrannical and pressing down on people. It is run by wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that inherently creates freedom for people. That is where your position is. But what has happened for a very long time is these spiritual beings, these ascended masters, so to speak, who are simultaneously existing in the separated earth, the earth that is separated like a cell, and the ascended earth, and also the descended one. Simultaneously existing in these realms, what is happening is instead of the mission being completed, whereas you, if you're resonating with this as that being, we're supposed to anchor and sort of not be behind these world leaders, but show them the what they've forgotten, sort of re-anchor that power in this descended earth. As opposed to that happening, what has happened is that a lot of these ascended masters, these spiritual people, are being tailed, or they're literally being attached, being binded spiritually, energetically to these people, so that they can be the hidden hand, the hidden force behind their ability to conquer each other, behind their ability to foresee things that they were not actually supposed to foresee, because their heart and their intentions are too lower dimensional, too impure to ever download those insights. They have rigged who is actually in control. That is what I'm getting. They can't quite get rid of the Most High. So what they do is they appropriate the Most High. They use those who are descendants of the Most High in order to maintain power and control. Where in reality, if the chips were falling where they should, if all these energy siphonings were not going on, you would see these people not be able to, what I've called here in this channel, spiritual blindness. You'll be able to see these people not be able to see a rock if it was coming to them. Literally. If a rock was coming straight to their forehead with their eyes wide open, they wouldn't be able to see it. That is how little of a vision that they have. But what they do is they take up these rituals. They participate in searching, mining for energetic hotspots where these grid workers, these beings of the Most High, who have mostly forgotten who they actually are and haven't shielded their energy, are left open enough for these energies to tag along behind them. And these are civilians. Like, I need that to be said. These aren't some agents in the sea. These aren't like that. These are civilians. These are people like you, your grandma, the woman in the kitchen making cookies. Literally. The person in the grocery store bagging groceries. Literally. And they have no idea that they're supposed to be a king or a queen somewhere. No idea. They have no idea that they are a king or a queen somewhere. Literally, simultaneously existing in both of these realities. That is what we're coming to. My entire body is covered in goosebumps. Literally. This is the true reality. And a lot of this shadow operation is coming to the forefronts. Because a lot of these chosen ones, these 144,000, you can call them however you want, they're sealing off their energy. And as this is happening, there's going to be a bankruptcy. There's going to be like a blackout. And it's interesting because they're making this blackout seem like it's an energetic attack. Yes, it is. But on who? On who and on what? It's an energetic realignment. Because a lot of these forces that have used these beings, these ascended masters, as a roadmap, as a guide, without them being actually in power like they're supposed to. They're supposed to be in power, not because we're talking about hierarchy and people need to be riding each other with a crop. No, but because the Most High said so. Because these are people who embody divine order and light. That is why these downloads are able to metabolize in their body. That is why they're able to see the whole board even without being given the inside knowledge, the secret knowledge. So what do these people do? They summon these people, these souls into rituals. They summon these souls into certain coordinates. They summon these souls and they mine them for information without their knowledge. They use technology to do this. They use spiritual tools to do this, all while pretending like they're in power. They've got control. They don't. They're scheming off of somebody else's homework. They're scheming off of somebody else's DNA, their code that they have worked and they have rightfully earned. They have a frequential match to hold that type of wisdom. Imagine if these people were given the actual authority. Brings me here. At 30 minutes, it brings me here. This is what's going to happen. Eventually, I do not know what timeline this is on. And I'm getting that I'm channeling a message here from a very futuristic timeline, but it's also very much present. It's sooner than we think it is what I'm hearing. There is a time when these souls are going to be brought to the forefront, and I have seen this in a dream, where prophets were yanked out of corners that they were hiding in with the knowledge buried deep into their chest that presidents, prime ministers, world leaders, kings, queens of this world, of this matrix, couldn't access. That they had to directly come to these people and give them the actual authority. They had to directly come to these people and say, we need your help, because they couldn't do it in a sneaky way anymore. They couldn't ritually take it from them anymore. That is where we're going. That is where we're going. And for a lot of people, there's a lot of fear-mongering going on about being attacked energetically, being brought into the dark ages, all of that stuff. That is not a worry for you. That is a worry for the world leaders, these people that have for a very long time stolen from the collective that remembers heaven, that has Eden encoded into their DNA. That is the truth. And these beings, a lot of them don't have a soul anymore. They don't. A lot of them don't have a soul. They've sold out humanity for whatever bits and pieces that they can grab from these other entities, these dimensional beings that have hijacked and parasitically leached on this earth. That is the truth. And it's sooner than we think. That's what I'm getting. It's sooner than we think. I'm going to leave this message here because I don't want it to be complicated. A lot of the people that came here just like you, a lot of the people that were awake simultaneously in that divine reality and that came here as a chosen one, and they decided to be corrupted because they believed that you were corrupted, because they were tricked into believing that you were corrupted by those who were actually parasitic, who are vampiric. Those people, they came to rescue as much as you did. But instead, they became used as a loophole to access you by these beings. These energies at this time, there's a humongous judgment that has been called on these people. And a lot of you, these are your fellow soulmates, your twin flames. These are people that share a code with you. They share a soul family at the very least with you. There is a time and a place for them. I'm not seeing them being completely discarded, but these are people that are going to deal with their karma through lifetimes. There is an energetic imprisonment about this energy that I'm picking up on, and they may never have what was promised to them with you in... It's like, how to explain it? They simultaneously, when they did something here, they simultaneously broke something there. There's no separation. When I say there, I'm talking about the earth, the earth that has been separated. We are here on this one. The earth that has been separated already exists simultaneously. Time is an illusion. It already exists. So when these soulmates, twin flames of yours, did something here, they simultaneously created a rupture there. And for them, their resonance with you there is going to feel like it's lagging. It's going to feel like it's lagging because of what they did here. I hope this resonates. I really do. I really do. I don't reach out. Those are scammers. I'm going to continue on this message as Spirit sees fit, but I'm going to leave it here today. So, yeah, until next time, everyone. Everything you need to know is in the description box down below. My blogs are down below. Soon I'm going to be writing a blog about this. We'll see. Yeah, until next time.